How's everybody doing on this wonderful Wednesday evening? Welcome to another edition of FSM After Dark podcast. Here with Rich Lupo, myself, Joe Arrigo that way, and Kalani Lua down there. So we have a bunch of crazy stuff. Our Vegas Golden Knights got knocked out. The LA Lakers did advance. The Clippers did fall. The Nuggets, as I called, advanced. And the Dodgers clinched. It's a good day in sports. Who do you think?
I can make your night even better. I got some it's semi breaking news as Kalani's having some technical difficulties. So all day long I kind of teased it a little bit that there's, with the Big Ten now getting back into football, and that's going to happen mid-October. Look for the Mountain West to get back into it by Halloween. I've been working the phones all day long. We've been, Rich, I talked to you in pre-production way earlier in the night, and I had some calls after the fact. And I kind of alluded to it a little bit in the tweet earlier today, but it looks like the Mountain West Conference, they're waiting on Hawaii, Air Force, and Fresno. And I think California is kind of the hiccup state right now for the Pac-12, who's trying to get back into it, as well as the Mountain West, because the Gavin Newsom, the governor of California, stated that there's no rule in place saying that they can't go on and play football and have games, but there's some type of law that they can't congregate, which with more than a certain group of people. And last time I checked, you need 22 people on the field to play football. So therefore, there's not going to be any practices, it looks like. So that they're trying to figure out a way to make it happen. But if they can make this happen, which a lot of people I've talked to believe that it's going to, it looks like the Mountain West Conference will in fact be playing football, and it will be done by, I believe, December 19th, which for the conference championship game, which in turn would have them in line for a New Year's Six bowl, should someone in the Mountain West move forward. So it looks like the Mountain West Conference will have football. There's a couple things that have to, hurdles they have to get over. But I've talked to people that's working on it, and I've talked to some other people involved, and they are extremely excited that football in the Mountain West will be happening, and UNLV can have their debut season with Marcus Arroyo, their new head coach.
Wow. How many does that make that now? How many conferences are in?
Well, you figure the big conferences. So you have they have the Big 10, the Big 12, the ACC, SEC. And I know I'm forgetting another one. And then, well, the Pac-12 would be the fifth, the Mountain West. And there's a few others, but I mean, I think now that they have some data and they have a quicker way to test for COVID, I do believe that kind of plays a major role. Plus, there's I think the Mountain West, I tend to err on the side of caution when it comes to this. Like, I've made it very clear that people's health is way more important than a sport, from football, to basketball, to baseball, anything. You're talking about someone's life and quality of life as they get older. On the flip side, I think if you're looking from a business standpoint, solely a business standpoint, not take all emotion and personalities and love for people and health risks out of the equation, the Mountain West missed the boat because there is no late games on the West Coast on a Saturday for college football. They could have been the one conference on the West Coast that could have been on ESPN, ABC, CBS, whatever network. They're going to fight to have those games on TV on Saturday nights. And you can make a windfall of money. And that's great for the players that are playing, the potential draftees, kids that want to be seen. So from a business standpoint, that's where I think there was a fumble. But I think if you're looking at it from a human standpoint, that's actually, they did the right thing. So it looks like it's going to happen. Lou Dog asked a great question about Colorado State. How can they field a team in that time frame? That's a great question, and they may be forced to bite the bullet with the team they have this year, and then reevaluate the program and bounce them afterwards. So,
I'm I'm going to be really surprised, to see how this college season plays out, because just like all the other sports, where originally, yes, I wanted to put the proverbial asterisk next to everything because it wasn't a normal season or this or that for every sport. Now seeing it at this point, I do still want the asterisk there, but for the opposite reason of I believe it's harder. And now you're looking at with what we saw with football, the stuff with basketball, baseball. These guys don't get the time to practice and all this other stuff. I think it's going to be hard for all of these teams to field to put competitive guys out on the field. I think your SEC teams, your Alabamas, your Georgias, your Clemsons, no, they're ACC. I'm sorry. But your SEC teams and, a couple of those ACC teams, you're going to have real strong.
But this is where not UNLV is still practicing. Like they are still working out, doing their 7-on-7. I mean, there's light stuff going on. There's still some work being done. Unlike California, like USC, UCLA, Fresno State, San Jose State, San Diego State, Cal Poly Pomona, Cal Poly San Luis Obispo, whatever,
that's Sac a huge State, leg up.
Yeah, they're but I think it takes about a month. It'll take about a month to get everybody back into place. You need to figure that's kind of the right time for me. If you think go back to high school, and I know it's not high school, but go back to high school. You got Hell Week. You got 2 weeks. Really. I mean, yeah. Now you have your from June to right before July. You get a 2-week break, and you come back in July, and you go to August, and then school starts in mid to late August, whatever the case may be. But overall, you need about a month. And it's not like these guys haven't been together. In a lot of instances, a lot of these guys, these teams are coming back, and they're adding 20, 25 kids to the roster. I mean, the schools like UNLV or the schools that have a new coaching staff in place that haven't had time to implement and have that springtime, those are the schools you have to worry about. But being that now the schools itself and the NCAA, those seniors and these kids have an extra year of eligibility, you're basically playing spring football right now. I mean, it's not the same. I mean, how many games have you watched so far, Richie?
I haven't watched any, truthfully.
Oh, bro. Like when you watch it, it's
actually no, that's a lie. I've seen 1 or 2. I apologize. I have seen 1 or 2.
And it's a little different. I mean,
there's been so much stuff on, man. I'm like brains and sensory advisory right now.
Right.
I had 3 screens going.
But it's not over the top bad football, but it's just still like it could be better, but it's like it's good football, And I'm gonna tell you, like, I got a good friend, I'm not gonna say his name, and he's like, I am anti double wing offense, and I'm a complete anti double wing. I think it is an offense that you use when you don't have athletes and you can't be creative and you have to find a gimmick way to win games. Bottom line, you see that with 8, 7, 8, 9-year-olds when you're teaching them at a young age in certain areas. Other than that, you don't see anybody. You see like 5 teams in college football run it. But I got a friend that loves it. And 2 weeks ago, he calls me up, or I'm texting him, and I'm like, "Hey, are you watching? I forget which game it was. It was Memphis and somebody." And he goes, "Yeah, I'm watching it." And he goes, "I was watching Army versus somebody earlier, and they came out in the wishbone." And I go, "Oh, you got a murder boner, huh? Just off that," because he loves it, bro. And he was like, "Hell yeah, the main vein was pumping." And then he hit me again this week, like, "Man, this is great. It's all these teams running this offense." And it was like, and I think it's cool because it's like, honestly, if I had to choose any sport that I am the biggest fan of, it actually is college football. Like that's where I get immersed, and like I had to cover the Raiders game. I didn't watch I caught the replay of the Packers game this weekend, but the Raiders game, I watched it. I covered it because I had to write the recap. Like I was okay kind of missing the Packers game. I've never been that way. I'm
So wait,
okay.
you beat the garbage out of me in fantasy football, and you didn't even watch your quarterback go nuts?
And my
That's
receiver.
not
No, I
even.
didn't.
I watched the game, so I just watched my own bludgeoning, and you didn't even watch it. That's
I
terrible.
let Aaron and Vontae Westside Tay handle you for me. I'm cool with that.
Devontae, I just put more points. He put as many points up as they did in the game.
But
Gross. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
but but at the end of the day, like if I miss a baseball series, I'm like, all right, I've missed a Laker game, in the playoffs, or came in late, and I'm like, but I get pissed when I don't get a chance to watch college football. Like literally, it's like fuck. Like I want to watch college football. Like this is what I'm most passionate about. So
That's baseball for me, man. I haven't missed the Yankee game in I think 3 years, and then prior to that, maybe 20.
Oh shit. But at the end of the day, I feel like I'm just at a point where I'm like, I'm glad it's coming back, and the Pac-12 is going to be right. Look, and Sean asked, "What about the Pac-12?" The Pac-12 is going to come back. There's too much money on the table now. They see it working in these other conferences. Okay, we're going to go ahead and do it, and it's just going to be a different type of season this year, which is okay. But at least we'll have it. And honestly, I think it's good for us because there's some type of normalcy in our life at this point. Kalani, you with us now, or are you like in and out still?
I should be here. This is the longest it's gone regular, so I don't know what was going on before, but it was like the Matrix over here, man. I apologize for that, but hey, I'm glad to be on.
Hell yeah. So, but yeah, but that's how I feel about it. So just to recap, something I don't want to say I broke it because I didn't really break it, but earlier today I talked to some people. It looks like the Mountain West is really working hard to get a season going. It looks like it's going to take place, I want to say October 9th, around Halloween. The Big Ten is looking for towards the 12th, October 19th, excuse me. But December 19th would be the day that the Mountain West would have their conference championship, and they would still be in line for a group of six, or excuse me, a Rose Bowl, or not a Rose, but a big Power 5 or Power 6 bowl, whatever you want to call them. I don't forget the top of my head. So it's been a mind-boggling day. But yeah, so we may be having a full array of college football in the next 6 weeks.
Will they allow any fans in these games?
I know UNLV earlier. I spoke to some people who I'm not going to say, but they're pretty high up the food chain. And they told me that this is prior to the Mountain West shutting down the season, that they planned on having fans at the games because they can social distance the amount of people that go to a UNLV football game in a 65,000 seat stadium versus somewhere down at like Florida State where, I mean, they sell out, or Alabama where they sell out, USC at the Coliseum, they're going to sell out. So I think that'd be a little more difficult there. But I think overall, I don't anticipate a lot of fans being at games.
Well, I knew they were going to have limited.
What, Kalani?
Can they get rid of that Florida State chanting? Get rid of that. Cancel it. That spreads Corona. It spreads COVID-22.
You get Rona. You get Rona.
Get rid of it.
It's like the priest.
Yeah, exactly. Get rid of that. Top it off. Mute the fan. I don't care what you do. Get rid of that damn thing. Yo, to what you were saying about college football, I think two things on why people love college football so much. One, regardless of who's playing, you can still root for the same organization or team, right? And it's always exciting to see, well, what new quarterback we got, what new running back we got. But I also think the other aspect is in college, it's the last time you get to see what great talent looks like displayed more consistently. In the NFL, you got so many good players. Sometimes it's not always given that you're going to get great performances week by week. Where in college football, you pretty much know, for the most part, if you play 13 games, 11 or 12 of those, I'm going to get great performances by the top players. So I think that's another reason why college football is also so exciting. It's the last time you really get to see great talent on full display without taking on other great talent consistently.
Yeah, and I think too, when it comes to college football, that's I think for most of us, we grew up on teams that we ride or die for. Like for me, I grew up a USC fan. That's never left me, and it never will. I fight on,
baby. Chosen up
for forever. I fight on forever. Rich is probably a Syracuse fan. Oh wait, no, Boston College.
Boston College, Northwestern, Rutgers.
No.
Every school on the East Coast.
St. John. Who else is up there?
Georgetown. Northwest, Bronx University, Southeast.
Fordham University.
Pittsburgh, Miami, Ohio of Northern California.
All of them. No, there's no California in there because it's too West Coast.
I'm joking.
No, who's your college team though, Rich?
No, honestly, I was a big Nick Saban fan because growing up in New York, there was no decent teams to root for. We had like Hofstra and that, but
Syracuse.
That was so far upstate, man. It wasn't like a Syracuse. Upstate New York from the city is like two different states. Like it's two different worlds. But
no doubt.
No, I really I've rooted heavily for Bama over the years just because of Saban and but I don't have any stake in any of the college teams. If I did, it'd have to be probably Charlotte with the Niners because I paid for my sister to go there. So, I got root for some, right? Like I didn't go to any big schools, so I root for that one. I got money in that one.
It's just, and then I think too, when you go to a school, then you become attached to the school you went to. Like I'm always going to root for Clark Atlanta, like no matter what. Like Kalani, you down with
Alabama State, baby.
Yeah, Alabama State. And the Panthers were always, we suck. Like I ain't gonna, we've sucked forever, and that's just what it is. Like, and then I also, and this is like a no in our world of media. And I got no problem saying it. Like covering USC was very special to me because I got a chance to cover like Pete Carroll and all the Pete teams, and then Lane, and then Sark. Getting to know the guys and being a part of that and seeing things firsthand. But on the flip side, when I came to cover UNLV, like it was just like, okay, I'm gonna make this a job, and I'm not gonna get attached. But then it's like, well, I coached high school ball against Tony. Like I was on his staff, and he was on an opposing team staff, so I got a chance to know Tony. And then it was like I get to know the players, and I know the players, and then it's like you get to know the people within the school and the athletic department, and it's like. And I told this to a UNLV staff member at the very last game at Sam Boyd. And I said, I've never felt as if a loss bothered me like a UNLV loss bothers me. When USC lost, it was like, okay, I know we're going to come back and smash somebody next week. But with UNLV, when he goes, Joe, it's because you've got a chance to know all the people and see how hard we work into this, how much work and time we put in this, our heart and soul goes in this. It's like, you know what, you're right. So from that standpoint, I do find myself rooting. I do find myself rooting for UNLV to win a lot more games. God, this is Kalani. This is for you, Kalani, because I know you're gonna love this.
You already know. Exactly. I'm telling you, Penn State, Ohio State, Sandusky University.
Wait, whoa. Hey, that's a low blow, dude. Sandusky University.
Is that not a real one?
Sandusky University?
Yeah, I thought that was that's not a real university?
Bro, I thought you were talking about Jerry Sandusky.
No, that didn't even come to mind. I literally thought that was my bad. I thought that was like one of those, I thought that was like Fordham or something. My bad. I wasn't trying to go there. I wasn't trying to go there.
Oh, to say like, damn, right? Like this is after dark, but that's a little.
No. I get you, and I apologize for that. I really was just going on. It did it. My bad. Which one? I thought you'd have been used to UNLV. Seeing UNLV lose and whatnot. They ain't had Randall Cunningham, so I thought you'd be used to it. But I understand.
Bro, I've only been in Vegas almost 6 years. I haven't been in Vegas a long time.
No, but I feel like I've been used to seeing them lose, considering since Randall Cunningham left, they haven't done much winning. So I thought it'd been like, oh, okay.
I'm an eternal optimist. What you got to say, Richie?
I was gonna say, I feel like when you're covering a team, though, you are emotionally invested because you have to watch more of them. I mean, that's like all the kids
You're not
in.
supposed to, but you get that way.
Yeah, but it's like the kids in North Carolina that they don't have a baseball team, so they root for the Braves because that's the only thing on TV. You know what I mean? It's the same thing if you're covering. I mean, I get you're not supposed to be, but when you start watching them, it's almost like they become your team because it's the only thing you're watching.
I think Cowboys fans all over is a lot of them, whether it was their grandparent, whether it was their granddad or their own dad or themselves, they grew up in states that didn't have a state football team, and because the Cowboys, America's team and all that, they're on the network, so you see them more. So that's who you grew up watching. You know what I'm saying? Just like how you were saying with the Braves. Turner Classic Network, what does TNT play during baseball season? Atlanta Braves game.
WGN with the Cubs. Yeah.
So it's like you get places where it's like, how are you a Braves or a Cubs fan? Well, that's the only team I watched growing up because they was on TV. So that makes sense.
There was one of my friends that the Braves actually did dirty. They were going to trade him to the damn Yankees and then didn't. Bastards. I got somebody to talk to there.
Never make a deal with the devil.
No, you don't. I want to hit somebody though for that.
You don't make a deal with the Atlanta Braves. You're damn right.
I want to hit somebody.
Don't send somebody closer to his kids. Mm-hmm.
Bastards.
You guys told me to watch that. Now we talking about okay.
Holy cow. That's why I like the Cubs. I really like the Cubs when they had Harry Carey, but then once he passed away, I was like, fuck him. Like, I wasn't like a Cubs fan, but like Carey was doing the games loaded. Like, he was sitting there with Budweiser.
It wasn't at the dude.
He's brought to you by Budweiser. Hey, Chip, give me another one. Holy cow.
You could hear them in the background. Him.
Yeah, he's cracking them. Literally.
He was like the original Brockmire, if you guys ever saw that show. Yeah.
Brockmire is so fucking good, dude.
It's absolutely hilarious, man.
Jaleesa and I binge watch it.
Yeah. I didn't know old boy was a real character. I thought Will Ferrell made that guy up. Because I'm a little younger, but I saw that, and then when I saw the real dude, I said, "Holy cow, man!"
The other one is Kenny Powers. Eastbound and Down was a good one.
Oh my God, that's
great. That was amazing. That was amazing. I got in trouble. I watched with my nephew, and he quoted a few things he wasn't supposed to.
Oh, that's right there is amazing uncleism, bro. Like you should get an award for that.
Dude, I mean, come on. They let him watch Scarface, man. What the hell?
You can let him watch Scarface, but not Kenny Powers. What the hell?
Oh my gosh. Okay. Show him how to do drugs, but show him something that's more realistic. Horrible. Okay, got it.
I'll show him how to do drugs and kill people and see your sister naked and all. But Kenny Powers, banging chicks and living a crazy life as a minor leaguer, former major leaguer, is a bad thing.
Driving around in a beat up car
in the wrong
and driving Sea-Doos.
and rocking the mullet.
Speaking of Sea-Doos and rocking mullets and fishing, the Clippers last night.
Rocking mullets and fishing, the Clippers last night.
Look, okay, so
Patrick Beverly's about to go do some fishing with Paul George. He's got a whole bunch of extra time.
Oh, dude, Patrick Beverly needs to go hit the, Dame Lillard said he's got an open cabana in Cancun for him. Like, come
bring
visit.
The Timbs right on the beach.
Bring them. And the thing is this, and Kalani, I want you to hear me out on this because I think you're going to appreciate what I'm about to say. Kawhi Leonard was 6 for 21 last night. Paul George was like 2 for eternity. If LeBron James had one of those games, the world would have melted down. If it was LeBron, game 7, down 3-1, he plays as shitty as Kawhi did or as piss poor as Paul did. Oh my God, LeBron, he's the fake king. He's this, he's that. Here's my problem.
I think it'd have been on ABC, like on the
actual,
been the lead, Channel 5 news.
Skip Bayless would have had a murder boner for eternity. It'd have been Viagra on steroids. He would have, it would have been the biggest, biggest, he would just go like this and start coming all over the place. He's a fucking cock. Anyway, but my problem is this: Kareem, Magic, Bird, Jordan, Kobe, and LeBron. They've done things. They've literally willed their teams to win games. Look at LeBron when they fell down 3-1 to a team that went 73-9 and comes back and wins a title. I disagree with Magic. The most iconic block is LeBron's chase down block on Iguodala, beating his shit against the backboard in Game 7.
I don't know. I do like that block. That is one of the dirtiest blocks. But when it happened, I said to my roommate, he was sitting next to me. I looked at him. I said, "That's the craziest block I've ever seen personally." Only reason why is he pulled that out of the rim all ball. That's the only reason that's to me crazier. And Tatum had a run. I mean, he was.
Well, yeah, but you're also a Celtics fan, so of course you're going to go for that. I'm talking strictly from a basketball standpoint.
Why would I go against it?
Because the Celtics are involved. I mean,
against the dude behind me doing it to LeBron, yamming on LeBron.
Okay, I'll concede that to you, but it's because they're both East Coast teams and not West Coast teams. I'm gonna keep moving now. So,
fucking dick.
But they willed their teams to win. Kawhi Leonard hasn't done that. Not in a Game 7. Paul George. Kalani's looking around. No, look it. And I'll explain my point a little further. Paul George is overrated to the point to where he's in the same category as me as James Harden, Russell Westbrook, and a few others.
Mallow.
It's always somebody else's fault. For instance, with Harden, it was Capella, it was Chris Paul, it's Mike D'Antoni, it's Westbrook. They all are gone except for Westbrook, and he may be gone. He's a free agent, but one person's still there. When you look at Westbrook, it was KD, it was Scotty Brooks, he doesn't have a supporting cast, it was Paul George. All of them are gone, but yet he's gone and he's still not a playoff producer. When you look at Paul George, it was Danny Granger, it was Nate McMillan, it was Roy Hibbert. But now who is it? It was Russell Westbrook. You look at it now, he's still not that guy. So he's in that category to me. You can't be known as one of the greatest if you keep blowing 3-1 leads and you play as piss poor on both ends. On both ends as Kawhi did. He was not doing anything on a defensive end. And I will say this, and I'm going to defend him here, or maybe give him his out. Since he's been hurt last year in San Antonio, he's not the same player, and that injury is a career lingering injury, and he's not going to be the same player, and he needs to have those days off. But other than that, I'm sorry. LeBron is a different beast. If that's LeBron, it's a completely different narrative if the Lakers lose. But instead, the Lakers lose a game, you see a different type of LeBron, and they reel off 4 straight in both series, and you see what the Lakers do. I'm just saying.
I actually saw something interesting somebody said today, which was probably one of the craziest that really did make me look at LeBron a little differently. How wild is it to see LeBron come into the league, get into his prime, still be that good, and watch Russell Westbrook come into the league, get into his prime, and see Russell Westbrook come out of his prime, and LeBron's still that dude. Like that's just a wild thing to see in that time frame of a guy like that Westbrook's so explosive, so crazy, MVP, triple-double machine. I mean, and LeBron's like that old diesel truck from like the 70s, just chugging along 300,000 miles, just cruising down the road. He's a different beast, man. And the longer he gets into later in his career, I do have a lot more respect for him and what he's done in basketball. Because you look at it, that's 17 straight all teams or whatever. That's it's insane. It's the most all time. It's nuts.
All right, Kalani, I'm gonna yield the floor to you, bro.
So once again, I must be the voice of reason for this particular show. Totally fine. I'll wear that hat. Totally cool. So all these guys could will their teams to wins, not Kawhi. But didn't Kawhi just come off making a franchise get to its first ever conference finals, NBA finals, and winning? Sure. there were injuries, but that's also part of the game. It's not, I didn't injure those guys. Well, he doesn't show up in game 7. Did he not have the only game 7 game-winning shot against the Sixers? It bounced 7 times. Well, it still went in. End of the day, it went in. So that's what you got to do. Unfortunately, yeah, he stunk it up. I got no excuses for his performance. So, Joe, you are right on all about that. Got it. But to say that, well, he's never done that, I'll just give you 2 examples of him actually doing so. When you look at this Clippers team, they were built to beat the Lakers. They never came together. Now, they didn't come together for a number of reasons. One, they have the most overrated coach in the NBA in Doc Rivers. Okay. 2, in some ways, I could get their reasoning, but I did not understand. Lou Williams and Montrezl Harrell, who have not done anything in the postseason, let alone, I don't even think Harrell's been to the postseason, criticized Kawhi doing the game management when Kawhi in 2 different stops has shown this works for me and the results are pretty good. You see the rings, right? But you guys want to complain to me and the team saying, well, that's not what we do. You need to be part of us. What I do works. What you do doesn't. And they just never met. We can go over how many games they didn't, but things just didn't work out. They got, whether you want to say they got full of themselves or overlooked the Nuggets or whatever. And look, we say all this about the Clippers failing. Let's not take away from the fact that the Nuggets on back-to-back series came down from 3-1. Jamal Murray has arrived. Wherever you want to rank him, that's fine, but put some respect with the K on his name when we go into next season as far as who the top point guards are. I'm not saying he's number 1, but he's in that conversation. Again, where you want to put him is up to you. But he's shown in this playoff series, oh, you better put my name up there. Jokic, Porter has finally lived up to expectations. So the Nuggets did what they had to do. As far as the Clippers, yeah, this is something us Laker fans kind of already knew. In a way, I'm sad because I wanted us to beat the Clippers because I wanted no excuses. I didn't want we had an easier path. Oh, this and that happened. Well, you didn't beat them. No, I wanted to beat them. But seeing them fall was also just as pleasing and just as exciting to do it as. What's interesting, though, and I'll wrap it up here. We talk about LeBron being 7, 3 and 8, or 3 and We talk about Kawhi losing now, and this is why you can't be in that conversation. Magic Johnson at one point was called Tragic Johnson. Remember, he got swept twice. Uno, dos in the NBA Finals. That's your Magic Johnson. You're not supposed to get swept twice. Oh, wait, we forget about that. Michael Jordan struggled to get to the NBA Finals until that team was all put together. Push that to the side. It just happens that way. So the idea that losing one series, coming up short for one game, or losing whatever, that ruins your legacy, it really doesn't. I mean, Larry Bird's considered one of the greatest. He only has 3 rings. So this idea that, you lost here, so no, I can't buy into that because we've seen other great players fail, and yet history has shown we still look at them as great players.
I have a better question than any of this. Do you think him leaving Toronto was a mistake? Because I think personally him leaving Toronto was a big mistake. I think they'd be back there.
No. Joe, I'll let you jump in really quick. My answer, no, because not only did you win, look, there is something to the fact of, hey, do I like where I live? I don't have to necessarily be in love with it, but I gotta like where I live. And I've never been to Canada. It gets cold there, and you from California, it's just not for you. So if you're miserable half the year being there, there's no point in you being there. They got hot, but I would say you won a championship. Hey man, I gave y'all the best farewell gift I can give you. I'll see you later.
I don't think it was a mistake leaving. I think it was just a mistake to the team he went to. I mean, look. I've worked for them for almost 3 years, okay, or 2.5 years, whatever it was, and I know how that organization is and how they think. Under Ballmer, that wasn't under Sterling. It was under Ballmer. His first 2.5 years, we were the flagship station. They're obsessed with the Lakers. They're still obsessed with taking over LA, owning LA. The issue that I have was he went there And then all of a sudden, you know, you need to bring in Paul George, right? And all of a sudden, it's championship or bust. That's all they talked about. That's all they talked about. That's all their broadcasters talked about. Their owner, their coach. When you would talk to them, oh, it's about a title. And then all of a sudden you get bounced, and it's like, oh, well, it wasn't championship or bust this year. We needed time to gel. Look, you added basically 2 players in the offseason. I'm not talking about the in-season deals at the deadline. They added 2 players. You returned the majority of your team. The Lakers returned 5 players. The majority of the Lakers were all new guys that have never played together. You don't hear about gelling with them because they came in with, we're out to win a title. These guys, and Kuzma talked about it, after they beat on Saturday night, after they beat Houston, he was like, we all like each other. We genuinely like each other. We go to bat for each other. Which I actually believe. I actually believe that. And talking to people around the Clipper organization that are still there that I'm friendly with, I'd ask them this, like, what's the deal with you guys? Like, during the season, I go, why does it seem like you guys have a false sense of like, you're that dude on the block or whatever? And they're like, oh, like the whole team feels like they won the title already. Like literally they feel they have this attitude like we've arrived. And I was kind of taken back by that. But you've seen it. You see it with Patrick Beverly talking. You see it with even Paul George. The only one on that team with the ring that's on the court is Kawhi. He's the only one that could feel that way about anything. And even
I think he's the only one that took it seriously and didn't blow off all these other teams and pretend like, oh, we just got to worry about till we get to the Lakers. That's all we gotta. Oh shit!
And look, and I'm gonna be critical of Kawhi. I'm gonna tell you why I'm overly critical of Kawhi. And Kalani, what I meant by he didn't ever do it. Like, I know he hit the big shot against the Sixers, and he was the guy in. Listen to what I'm saying. Like, I'm not shitting on Kawhi, but I'm gonna be critical of him because it goes to my point. If that was LeBron, if that's Giannis, if that was Kobe, if that was Jordan, if that was Magic, in today's society and the way we look at the world would explode. People's heads would blow up. But it's Kawhi it's because he's a hey baby, because he's that guy and he's a weirdo. And look, let's be real about this. Everybody thought, oh, when Kawhi comes in, oh, he's coming in, he can be cool, man. It's Kawhi, bro. When you start you're around this guy a lot, you're like, fuck, this dude's a weirdo. Like, yo, like I can't really fuck with him. He's in his own. He does his own thing. That's gonna give you as a teammate, like, yo, like, do I really want to fuck with this guy like this? You know what I mean?
Yeah, and then guess what? It gave them that attitude. Look where they at. Whereas Toronto said, yeah, we'll fox with them, and look what they all got.
Exactly.
So it's but that's not on Kawhi. That's on the team not embracing what is. That's like if a coach comes in
Agreed.
With championship pedigree and says, guys, I have the formula on how we can win. I need you guys to buy in. Nah, man, I don't like the way he wears shorts. And if you listen to the music he talking about, he putting all these type of meditation things around and humming and all that. Guess what? You buy into it, we get some jewelry. You don't buy into it, you can go to Magic City now. You want to now. Go get the lemon pepper wings if you want to.
That goes to my other point though. The Lakers, like, and I said this on this show when we first started it, when the playoffs began, the Lakers came into this thing serious. There was no, oh, guys leaving the bubble. Caruso missed his sister's wedding to stay in the bubble. Like, guys were there like, we're here on a mission. We're here, they're here. And the Clippers, look, there was 5 Clippers at one point out of the bubble. 5.
One of them left. He went to 7-Eleven just to get a cup of coffee, dude, and he had to stay out for 2 weeks quarantine.
And no, I didn't hear about that. You had you and Montrez, you had Zubac, Beverly, and there was one other player.
Montrez, you can almost
Lou Williams.
It depends on you.
We said Lou.
You can almost give Montrez a pass just because
of his grandmother. Absolutely.
Yeah. So I can understand that. Granted, I would have liked if you would have worked out while you were doing that, but I understand that. But they both look. Whenever you come into a season, especially when you get the type of players you got, you're supposed to have that mindset. Yo, we winning a championship. We're going after the title. You know, the Brooklyn Nets next season is going after the championship. They're not saying, all right, guys, let's try to get a top 4 seed. And let's just win. No, we're going for the championship. So I'm not going to knock the team for that. The problem I have is, like you were pointing out, Joe, the Lakers all bought in to LeBron and AD being put together and what they can do. You know what I'm saying? That they bought into it like, okay, we did it with LeBron before. We were winning, but then he got injured, and then we were kind of critical of him not playing enough defense and then this and that. You know what? Got it. We got a chance to really do it. Let's all buy in. And let's just see how this all pans out, especially when you got veterans, guys like Dwight Howard, who hasn't been able to win the championship, KCP and others, who is like, you know what? I want to get there. Where you look at the Clippers, yeah, they want to win, but they felt like they had already won it without actually putting in the work. They didn't buy into it, and hence, where did that fall on?
Well, that was the other guy though. That was the other guy with Harden, Dwight Howard. It was Dwight Howard's fault, not Capella. It was Dwight Howard's fault. It's Chris Paul's fault. It's D'Antoni's fault. It's Westbrook's fault. But Harden's the one.
To be fair to Harden, ain't none of the dudes ever won without him either.
No. Okay.
See, Chris Paul ain't never won without him. So it's not like you're giving me Kawhi Leonard's and I'm losing with them. You're giving me guys who have done what I've done and we're still losing. So it's not just me.
No, but my point is if you look at playoff performances, Harden, Westbrook, Paul George have not been guys that lived up that. You know, bright lights are on. Their nuts shrank. Let's just be real about it.
I agree with you on that, Joe. I'm not trying to argue that point. I'm just saying, like when you were saying, oh, for Harden, it's all these other guys. It's like, yeah, that's true. But the guys you're telling me against, their nuts shrink too. So,
well, yeah, no, that's my point. No,
their nuts shrink too.
Well, no, but my point is, but it's never Harden's fault why they lose. Like, let that be LeBron. Not like again, but not like a LeBron.
Yeah, but is the D'Antoni thing walking away? Does that say anything about it too?
Go ahead. I got a D'Antoni rant. Go ahead, dude.
Well, Joe, I'll let you get on the D'Antoni. But as far as the LeBron one, I completely agree, and that's really why I take the stance that I do. Because realistically, my favorite player just got kicked out by the Nuggets. But LeBron is considered one of the greatest of all time. Harden is not. Kawhi is not. So it is unfair. But Kobe, LeBron, those guys get the criticism and hate because they're in that special class. We all know it. You got Hall of Fame players. Then there's that room in the back where, oh, okay, yeah. You can come here. Yeah, you got the jacket. You come here. Jerry Rice, come here. Larry Bird, come here. John Stockton's a Hall of Famer. We're going to keep you out here. Karl Malone might be able to come in. John, apologies, but you're just going to stay here and whatnot. So it's a little bit different for those particular guys and whatnot. But it'll be, for Harden, we don't have enough time in the show to break it down, but he certainly has his flaws. But the reason guys like him don't get criticized as much is because the expectation and the overall realm of where they're looked at is not in the same class as these other guys.
Mike D'Antoni is a fraud in every sense of the word. Okay. Mike D'Antoni, you look at him in any small market, he's got a gimmick way of playing basketball. It's simple to stop. You're basically, it's simple to stop in the postseason, I should say.
I was going to say, and it doesn't work in the postseason.
In the postseason, it doesn't work. It's never won a title, and it's never going to at all.
There's a team in the Bay Area that says, "Oh, you can make some."
But they made some changes.
They moved the ball.
Yeah, they moved the ball way more. It is not just pick and go and pull. It's not what it is. It's easy to defend. And
Curry ain't taking 48 dribbles.
It's easy to do that when you have talent that they were able to put together. Houston's tried to put it together, but they've tried to put it together. They got the wrong pieces for it, but they have tried to put the right pieces together.
But here's MVPs.
Those guys.
But here's the thing, and I'm glad you said that. Mike D'Antoni, everywhere he's gone, teams have given him what he wanted. Everywhere. When you look at with Phoenix, They gave him what he wanted. That was his team. He helped with personnel decisions. He went to the Knicks. He had to say so, but he quit. Wait, hold on. He quit. But wait, when he knew it wasn't a winnable situation, he quit. He left. I quit. Hold on.
Went after the money.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. No. When you sign that contract, you're obligated to try to win a title. To do your job.
I'm trying Chinese food and a slice of pizza, and I'm getting out as quick as I can too. It's the freaking Knicks.
I'm telling you. No, I disagree.
That's what Bill Belichick did with the Jets. Bill Belichick came in there, got a slice of pizza, a cup of coffee, and
Bill Belichick was smart enough to not coach a game. He was the Belichick Jets thing. Let's be real. He was there 24 hours.
That's what I'm saying. He got a cup of coffee, a slice of pizza, some Chinese food, and he fucking dipped.
But here's the thing.
Breakfast, lunch, dinner.
When D'Antoni got to the Lakers after that year, they gave him who do you need? They went and who do you want? They went and get it. He quit on the Lakers. I can't do it here. Literally, I was still there. I was still there at that time.
Didn't a certain Achilles pop out too?
Doesn't matter. And that's because he was playing his style of ball. It does matter because he still had his point guard. He still had his center. He still had his shooters. Hey, Steve Nash was there. That's his dude.
Steve Nash had to retire because he only played 10 games with a bad back. Come on, Joe.
That was his dude.
Hold on, Joe. He had his dude for 10 games. So how do I win for 10 games?
That's gun and scheme asking a paycheck because he knew and still signed the contract.
Do nothing, Joe.
I'm telling you, I was there, Kalani. I was in the locker room. I know what was said. I know how. I'm telling you, the players knew he was full of shit. They didn't buy into the shit he was selling, and he quit on them when he realized that I'm gone. And then he ended up in Houston, and he's had tremendous success in Houston, undeniably regular season success, no doubt. Harden's numbers away from him to him it's like averaging 12 points to averaging 28 points, averaging 3 assists to averaging like 9 assists, whatever it is. Crazy numbers. It's great to put up numbers, but you're not going to win title. D'Antoni is a fraud. He's never going to win a title. He knows it. And when the major markets start to see through the D'Antoni bullshit, he up and dips out. If you're that great of a coach, this is your Houston team. You got them to buy in to what you want them to do as a system. I want to go small. We don't need bigs. Well, what does he do now? Oh,
trades their bigs and leaves.
And then it's like, oh, they're just too big for us. So, I'm just going to agree I'm just going to go somewhere else. And he's going to find the next good situation where it's young guys. He can run his game, and then he won't win a title there. And if it's in a major market, he'll dip in 3 or 4 years. If it's in a small market, he'll stay a little longer because the media is going to be more forgiving because it's Mike D'Antoni and it's a small market and they're not going to piss him off.
But that's the thing, Joe. I think he's burned a lot of the major markets at this point. There's only a handful left to me, and one of them is Miami, and Spoelstra's not going anywhere anytime soon. He's on that pop deal. He's playing till he retire. He's coaching till he retires in Miami. Yep. So the major markets, I'm pretty sure he burned out all the big major markets already. And the way I look at it too is once you ruin it with the Lakers, I think it hurts you with the Clippers. Once you ruin it with
Clippers would hire him in a heartbeat if they didn't believe so much that Doc is the guy.
Well, maybe not the Clippers, but I think other states where they have other teams, they're not going to be as hyped to sign him now.
Chicago's got a vacancy.
So look, I do agree with some of what you're saying. I do agree with that. Sorry. I do agree with that, okay?
Ronikoff.
Don't say that. Don't say that. But okay. Here's my stance on it as well, right? So I'm in Phoenix and I'm doing great things. But then my star power forward, Amari Stoudemire, he gets hurt. Steve Nash gets half his eye torn off by Robert Horry, and then I'm told, well, this doesn't work. All right, cool. But then guess what? the system that apparently I was running that didn't work. Funny how most of the NBA is running it right now, or at least a big portion of it. Not 100%, okay, nothing ever is, but you guys are running about 75 to 85% of what I do, but it doesn't work. Got it. Cool. Then I go to New York, a place for the last 30, 40 years, everyone's career has died there. But yet it's on me that I couldn't make it work with that particular. Okay, cool, got it. Everyone else has failed there. When I fail, see, I told you it doesn't work. Got it. When I went to LA, I brought in Steve Nash because he knows the system.
No, Nash was already there.
Whatever, but his back goes out, right? That was a known unknown. Injuries happen, but I didn't know it was going to be that, and it ended his season. Howard comes in. Apparently, I didn't know this dude really likes to have fun. Like, I didn't know that. I thought it was just something he said. But when I switched Kobe Bryant to point guard for the last, I want to say maybe 15, 20 games. Joe, you would know better than me.
12 games.
Yeah. But when he did that, what started happening with the Lakers? Oh, wait a minute. Kobe started getting about 15 points, but he started getting like 8, 9, 10, 11 assists. We started winning some games. We were looking pretty good. Maybe not going for a championship, but if I could get Kobe to buy into what I'm selling, the rest of the guys fall in and we're sharing the ball. Oh, now we're moving. Now, God damn it. It's his Achilles. What, he's on a walk and shoot free throw? Damn. So now his Achilles is gone. I got my point guard with a bad back. He blew out his Achilles. This fucker over here wants to play video games and whatnot. This ain't going to work. Oh, and guess what? The Lakers haven't done anything since LeBron just showed up. So, yeah, all those coaches that came after me did wonderful things. But it didn't work with me. Then I go to Houston. I make Houston relevant since Yao Ming and Steve Nash. I give Harden what he does, but we're still flawed as a team. We definitely had moments where we suck, and I don't make proper adjustments. I give you all that. But I definitely had a lot. Now, what I'd like to know is this. What is the reason behind him leaving? Yes, I get it, Joe. Maybe he did just quit on him. I got it. But is there something else? Was he having a problem with management? What was it with the players? We don't know. When more comes out, and Joe, I know you know the janitor who works at the Houston, and you know the manager that works here. I know that, Joe. I know. You'll tell us about it. I got it. But I'd like to know the reason behind that, because maybe that could give us a little bit more. Hey, just hold on. Remember when Phil Jackson left the Lakers, he also had physical health issues. So I don't know. Is Mike D'Antoni maybe hiding some type of physical ailment that maybe we don't know about that he needs to take a year or two off of? Possibly.
Yeah, his labia is hurt.
It's very possible. But he has shown everywhere he's gone outside of New York, I won. And everyone in the NBA has copied my system. And if we also look at the last 20 years, there's literally a handful of coaches who have won titles. It's not like half the league has won a title. So let's not act like everyone's winning freaking titles. And if you look at the teams who win, look at how that team is constructed, the pieces they have. Sometimes you get it early, like the Warriors, and it works. Sometimes you got to tinker. You got to move things around. And they've tried that, and it hasn't worked in Houston. So if nothing else, I would rather take 50 wins and a second-round exit and possibly a conference finals exit than constantly battling for the lottery. So, and we're talking about big market teams. It's not a big market, but if I'm a certain team in Charlotte, good way to sell some tickets is to get is get a high-scoring team that can win some games. I got a couple dollars.
He'd make Devontae Graham a household name if you put him there. I think my problem with D'Antoni, Kalani, because I agree with a lot of what you say, and I kind of agree with Joe with the whole quitting thing, but it's one of those, yes, he's quitting, and then it's like you said, Kalani, he's quitting because there's kind of a reason that these things have gone to shit. My problem with D'Antoni, though, is how he's never won anything in the grand. I know when you break it down like that, it makes sense. But in the grand scheme, when you look at it, is how he's never won anything. Because I don't think any coach has coached more MVPs than Mike D'Antoni, if you really think about it. Like different guys.
Yeah, I mean, yes.
Steve Nash, Harden, Westbrook, Kobe.
Okay, wait, but he didn't. He didn't coach Kobe to an MVP. He
No,
didn't
but
coach
I'm
Westbrook.
saying
They're
MVP caliber
MVPs on the
players,
roster.
guys
Phil
that have
Jackson
won
probably did.
MVPs.
I mean, Phil had 3.
But that's still what I'm saying.
Red
though, is you think
Auerbach, how
about
many
Dan-
did he have? Look, coaching an MVP is one thing, but coaching them to an MVP is another. And look, let's be real. The second MVP Steve Nash won, he shouldn't have won. That should have been Kobe's. Let's be 100% real about that. People didn't like the fact that it was Kobe and it was a couple years off of the Colorado incident, and they were pissed off that Kobe was busting everybody's ass unapologetically and being real about it. And he pissed off a lot of media members until they got their head out of their ass. Were like, look, we can't shit on greatness. So
it's also the at that time that was the great white hype. So it's like, hey man, we got to get one, man. We don't know when we're going to get one again. And now they got Luka. So hey,
look, if we're gonna be real about it. Look, my issue, D'Antoni won. Yes, Kalani, there's variations of his offense. It's like the West Coast offense in the NFL. There's variations of his offense throughout the NBA. But teams, you brought up the Warriors before, they play defense. Like Klay Thompson, Draymond, who else? KD. They play defense.
Does Curry play any defense?
Curry's an average defender, bro. He's not a special.
He's an average defender. If you put him on Bruce Bowen. Oh man, you literally see Curry run to the bench every time it's on defense.
Okay, I look at my point, but the other guys around him play defense. There is not his stars don't play. Steve Nash never played defense.
Steve Nash was never known for defense, even in Dallas. Harden
doesn't play defense.
No, he does when he wants to. He's actually a really good defender when he wants to play defense. He just chooses not to.
Sean Marion was known for defense. Amari Stoudemire would get blocks down low. And then James Harden, especially in this postseason, he has some good defensive stats. But before this season, Harden was their entire offense, just like we see with LeBron. Hey, man, I'm at the point in my career where I can't give all on both sides. I got to pick and choose. And if I'm the Kool-Aid in this drink, I'm gonna have to do this all on offense, as opposed to now I got to do it on defense as well. Especially considering we're doing it against all these guards. Because unlike some people, I'm not allowed to take on wheelchair recipients and then get a Defensive Player of the Year award for it, and then be known for being a great defensive player my whole career when I guarded Jeff Hornacek.
But my point is, and I'm gonna go back to it. D'Antoni doesn't equal championships. Players.
You never know. Hey, so let me ask you this. Let me just ask you this. What happens if he goes? Let's just say. Let's just be hypothetical here, okay? Let's say hypothetical. Let's say he gets hired in Milwaukee, right? Let's just say they again. I don't know what the coaching situation is, but let's just say they hire him in Milwaukee. They re-sign Giannis, and let's say they bring in a couple players, and it works. And let's just say, or he goes to Philadelphia or whatever, and he turns Ben Simmons in. Let's say he goes to Philadelphia. Ben Simmons comes up, and he does a thing, and they win. Then what?
I got the Rona cough on that one.
Shit. He said, I'm going to turn. He said, Mike D'Antoni is Jesus. He's going to turn water into wine. He's going to turn
make Ben Simmons a jump shooter.
Curry.
What the fuck?
He'd be the Australian Ben Curry.
I didn't say a jump shooter, man. I never said a jump shooter.
No, I'm just laughing because all I'm thinking of is Mike D'Antoni and Ben Simmons. That's like.
Hey,
it's like
if you're a guard in my system, you are going to flourish. So I'm just saying, even if you want to put him in Milwaukee, if he goes to a team and he does win, and let's say he wins a title in the next, 5 years, right? Because we don't know who the dynasty will be then. If he wins a title in the next 5 years, then what? It's not easy to win a championship in a team sport, man. This isn't an individual run. If it was an individual thing, the criticism for not winning the title is far more there. But this
I absolutely agree with that.
No.
Stevens is a great coach. We're going to say that he's a bum because he hasn't won a title yet? Don Nelson was great, but he didn't win. Oh, he's a bum. No, dude, it is hard to win a championship in a team sport.
Look,
I know. They're not 6-0, so they're trash. Got it.
No.
Fuck him.
I wasn't even going to say anything about Jordan. So keep this Jordan slander out your mouth tonight. I'm leaving. I've been late. I haven't been talking about MJ. No. So Milwaukee, it's interesting you say that. Budenhauser's not going anywhere. He's won Coach of the Year back-to-back years. And they need another player beside Giannis, a legit number like a Bradley Beal or even a Chris Paul type player. You said the Harden was the offense the last couple years by himself. No, he had Chris Paul. He had other guys around him. It's just that he under D'Antoni, the pieces don't fit the puzzle. And that listen, I'm not a Chris Paul guy. I make that very clear. But my point is, those are all guys that D'Antoni targeted and wanted. He wanted Chris Paul in Houston with Harden. Those are guy that Daryl Morey went out and got for him. So all of the like D'Antoni gets what he wants, and then when they don't win, and especially in a big market, and they start calling him out for mistakes that he makes, he dips on them. That's his MO. Like, the whole reason he got the Laker job is because Dr. Bust said straight up before he passed away, he didn't want to pay Phil Jackson another $12 million to bang Genie. That's his exact words. And he told Mitch and Jim to hire D'Antoni. They already had talked to Phil the night before. I'm telling you,
how that worked out.
Exactly. And initially the pieces in LA fit what Phil wanted to do more than D'Antoni. He had Kobe, who knew the system, Gasol, who knew the system.
D'Antoni is blamed for it not working.
No, but D'Antoni's is blamed for it for not adjusting to what he had. Great coaches will adjust their schemes to the players that they have. Bill Belichick adjusts his scheme all the time. He doesn't stick with it. He came in with a 3-4, but he moved to 4-3. Phil Jackson, he ran the triangle, but he also had different as Kobe got his game elevated and his game evolved differently. He changed the game from where he first had it in Chicago to where he ended up with the Lakers. It wasn't just running horns and trying.
He had a better player running it with the Lakers than he did in Chicago, so it makes sense that you're not
gonna bait me into a Jordan talk.
Okay,
go ahead,
I'm not going to bait you into it.
Wait, no. What I wanted to say is real quick. I think the funny part is, like Kalani said, everybody copied what D'Antoni did, but altered it. I think the problem is D'Antoni hasn't gone back and copied what they took from him and applied it to his system, because I think it would work. He's still, trying to chisel out the square wheel, and they're running on run flats right now. Like, you gotta.
Yeah,
this isn't Euro ball.
He definitely is. Well, if you kind of look at the way the NBA is played now, it really is Euro ball. So that's not really a knock. It really is. That's a positionless game. Everyone does everything on the court now. All the big shoot jumpers. Guess what? That's Euro ball. And then look, like in LA, right? Okay, I get these players, but like you just said, I wasn't hired because you guys wanted me. You wanted me because you didn't want him. It's not like, hey guys, we really got to have D'Antoni. It was like, no, go get this guy, because I don't want this guy doing all this and this and that. So I wasn't really your first choice here. So this wasn't a marriage that we both were in love with. This was kind of like those reality shows where it's like, oh yeah, I'm picking you because for ratings it's good purposes, right? So I'm not saying D'Antoni's perfect. Look, he is very flawed and not making adjustments, not picking some of the right personnel when he's in charge. That works out. But at the same time, it's also like, wait a minute, I'm grabbing you guys and I'm having you guys have career numbers with me. Steve Nash is a Hall of Famer because of me. James Harden potentially Hall of Famer because of me. And yet you guys want to turn on me and act like, wait a minute, it's only my fault? So it's only my fault that you guys shot, what was that one game? That you guys missed 27 3-pointers in a row. I'm not shooting the ball. Run
different sets to bring the ball, bang the rock down low, get some barbecue chicken going,
and down low with no bigs. Like that's
and you traded them all away because you wanted guys to fit your system. So it goes back to who?
They didn't have any bigs to begin with, man. What do you mean? I traded them all away.
No, they had Capella and they had a couple other big, they had a couple other center. And whether or not the Lakers won 2 titles with Andrew freaking Bynum, bro. It's not like Bynum was setting the world on fire and he was like we glorified Bynum because we wanted to have the next fucking Shaq, and he wasn't that guy.
Glorified Bynum because you guys were mad at Shaq. Be honest.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So it's not like, I mean,
Capella's banging down low and getting barbecue chicken.
But run something different. But you're not running something different, and that's my point. That's Doc Rivers' biggest thing. Doc Rivers is in the same boat as D'Antoni, failing to make adjustments, failing to like. Why don't you put Kawhi on Jokic and let him what? There's their best.
You got barbecue chicken on Kawhi.
No, I mean, look, you put Patrick Beverly on him. You tried to double him. You put Paul George on him. Why not put your best player on their best player, and then let Paul George go to work on Murray, or Patrick Beverly on Murray? I'm just saying it's the same non-adjustments that Doc Rivers made. D'Antoni, but D'Antoni gets a pass. And D'Antoni took the Lakers job because it was fresh out of quitting on the Knicks job. The Lakers are going to pay him money, but it was rehabilitating his image. And he was like, okay, because LA is so fucked up, I'm not going to be blamed for this. So guess what? I can get another job and it won't be my fault. And that's exactly what he did. He had the Houston job already lined up. Like that was already in works. So no, that's my point. So it wasn't like well, it failed and I gotta, like no, I fucking quit because these guys are shitty. I popped Kobe's Achilles, so I'm out of here. I'm going to Houston. Oh, by the way, Dwight, come with me.
But you already had Houston lined up. So did I really quit, or did I finally go to where I already had it lined up? If I plan to have a meal later and I prep it and I cook it and I save it for later, then I eat it, that's not me quitting here. That's me finally getting to my meal. So you kind of just said he already had Houston set up before this job. So this job event was short term anyways. So that's not me necessarily quitting on it. That's me moving on to the job I actually wanted. Oh, and guess what? Unlike Doc Rivers, my guys are getting individual awards while we're doing it. Whereas Doc Rivers guys, but you get
he's coached like 6 men of the year.
You left. I think a team like D'Antoni could actually coach not coach well, but I think would work well in his system. Washington. A healthy John Wall and Bradley Beal with those other pieces, I think D'Antoni his system could actually work there because let's be honest, Russell Westbrook is not no spot down, knockdown shooter, and James Harden is, a much, 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 much better J.R. Smith, where he has his nights where he goes 0 for 12 and then 10 for 13. So
I think another team would be Dallas. That he would work perfectly with Doncic and Porzingis and 100%.
I'm being honest. As much as I'm defending D'Antoni right now, I'm going to go against that simply because with the baggage D'Antoni, like you just pointed out, Joe, the baggage D'Antoni brings, it's only going to be Luka's 3rd year. Porzingis is like 5th year, maybe his first one being healthy. Yeah. So. But they're still kind of young. Like Porzingis is 7 years in. He's still a young guy.
Five.
In the 3rd year.
5 years.
No, I thought this was his 6th year.
No, I have it on the jersey up there. I have the years of when they got drafted. 2015 is when he got picked.
Okay. Go ahead. My bad.
That's right there. I looked.
But either way, they're young guys still. They're still maturing and figuring out the bodies. If they don't win in the first year that D'Antoni's there, they're going to get the same hate because of what he's bringing. So that's why I would say keep him away, because the hate D'Antoni would bring because of him and, as Joe's pointed out, his resume, that will just fall on top of them. And for 2 young guys who clearly have shown that they could play in this league at the highest level and be as productive as they are, I would just hate for that to be the narrative for their careers going forward if they don't win 6 rings in a row because, our coach has such a bad rep with people, we're now going to get the shit end of it. We've seen it with 2 other good players. I would not want to see that with those 2 guys.
I appreciate you saying that because I do agree with that because I think Rick Carlisle is a damn good coach,
Hell
and
yeah,
I think they just need time and a healthy season of Porzingis and Doncic together, and those other dudes. Because listen, Seth Curry is a damn good shooter over there in Dallas. That kid can knock some shots down. They've got a team, man. They just need to let everybody get healthy again. Kleber and Powell and all those guys.
I'm gonna take the opposite approach. I think because he's had all veteran teams, that's part of the problem. He needs to have a young team that can buy in completely and go that route. He can mold them to what he wants them to be because he's had older guys already who's kind of, okay, we're going to do this and we know we can get ours, but like we know we're going to get ours and that we're going to get bounced in round 2 or maybe the conference finals. We're not going to a finals. We're cool with that. You get a young team and you get guys that don't know what the fuck they're doing in the NBA and they're in this system and they're eating in this system. Then all of a sudden it's like, yo, like, why can't we do it? Fuck it. Let's just go do it. And they go hard. Now you bring up Washington. That's why I think Dallas would be a really good fit because Doncic is high basketball IQ. He can shoot, one of the top 3 or 4 passing point guards. Or point wing players in the game. They have the Curry can shoot the lights out. Porzingis can shoot the lights out. Hardaway Jr. is there and he can shoot and get to the cup. So and they have size and they got guys like Porzingis can play defense and that's something that just off natural ability, not like, oh, this is just a defensive player. Now you look at Washington. I actually think Washington is gonna trade Bradley Beal this offseason. I think, and you brought their team up earlier, Kalani. I think he gets traded to Milwaukee.
Oh, you suck, Joe. That's what I was gonna say. I was waiting for you. God damn it.
I just think Giannis met with Bucks ownership, according to Chris Haynes from Yahoo. Chris reported this. And in that meeting, he's like, I want to know where we're going to go. They're going to meet again before he signs a Supermax because that's going to determine whether or not he's going to sign the Supermax to stay there, which I believe he's going to.
Yeah, but they said they're going to go over.
And they said they're willing to go.
Will go over the luxury
and they're going to
tax.
be creative. And you know what? They need a number 2, and a guy like Beal would fit ideally right next to Giannis.
And that's why I've always, as I wrote that article about him going to the Warriors, but also pointed out that for Milwaukee has a legit chance in keeping him simply because ever since Giannis has emerged as, okay, this is our franchise guy, this is who we're getting behind, every offseason they've brought in players to put around him. Eric Bledsoe, Lopez, Corver, George Hill, Matthews. Not saying they don't work, obviously, but every year they have shown, what are we missing? Let's go out and try to get it. What do we need? Let's try to get it. They've shown that they're not just going to sit back and say, well, kind of like if you guys remember the Indiana Pacers in the early 2010s when they had a really good squad, but Danny Granger couldn't stay healthy. And It's like they never really added to that roster. They didn't want to mess with it. They didn't want to tinker it none. Had they tinkered it some and brought in some guys, maybe they could have gotten over the Miami Heat. But the Milwaukee Bucks, they have not rested on that. And because of that, I felt like because they've shown that initiative to try to build a team around Giannis every year, that it shows him, okay, they're not just going to rest on it being on me. They're going to help. They're going to try to do what they can to get guys in. I can work with that. So to me, that's a big reason why I felt like Milwaukee always had a legit chance because they've always shown that they're not just going to sit back and wait. They're going to try to get it. So Bradley Beal would be fun to watch. Damn, I wish he would put on that purple and gold. But I wouldn't mind him in Milwaukee.
But the other thing, too, about that is, with Giannis, I do think he wants to stay there. But the other thing is, like you were saying, Kalani, they've taken a lot of little swings. I think this meeting with him was we're going to take the home run. We'll move pieces. We'll do what we got to do. And we're going to bring some stuff in here and try and make a legitimate run. Because you can't have a guy that wins. What does he won? Most improved player, MVP, defensive player of the year. I mean, this dude's racking up awards real quick.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
and he's still like 25.
Exactly. And he's only going to get better if he figures. I actually watched the thing, too. If you go back and watch him shoot early in his career, he was a good shooter. Now, I don't mean a good shooter. He was a much better shooter than he is now. he changed his whole form. It was a quick jump shot to that whole set thing he does now. I think if he becomes a better shooter, he is one of the scariest guys in the league. But I think they have to help him because he needs to make it further in the playoffs and get to a finals, or he's going to enter that conversation of these other guys that have won all these accolades and never been able to perform in the playoffs.
I think he's got to work on his post move and a mid-range jumper. Yes, I understand shooting the 3 balls is wonderful, and Joe, I'm about to cut it off here. But if he works on a couple more post moves down low and a mid-range jump shot, I believe, given his skill set, it'll make him more deadlier than working on 3-pointers.
Did you guys see the franchise Twitter tonight? There was a question that was posed. If only between these 3 players, if you had to choose one of these 3, who would you rather have being the face or the leader of your franchise? Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, or Jimmy Butler?
Butler.
Okay. 2 guys that have never won a championship and a guy who has won 2. Yeah, give me Kawhi.
Yeah, I'm taking Butler.
That's cool.
He's got that dog in him that's just different. Jimmy, I would have loved to have seen Jimmy in purple and gold. I would love to have seen Jimmy in that purple and gold.
Nah, I would have loved it too, man. But Jimmy would have been trying to fight AD the whole damn time. Like, hey, man, you better get down low. So that would have been something to see. But and you know what? Kawhi got some dog in him too. I mean, ask Toronto.
Look at my only issue with Kawhi is, again, I think the injury he had in San Antonio is one that's going to linger for his career.
I agree. Yep.
And that makes me very hesitant. Whereas with Butler, even though he's a little bit older, I still think he's getting better. Like Butler has just a different vibe. I think that chip he has, I like guys like that. And there's not a lot of guys.
It's a boulder, Joe.
I love it. He has that. Honestly, look,
people team around him though. Like, you got to get a specific group of players
like he has in Miami.
Yeah.
It's working. Hey, it's working in Miami. He's got shooters. He's got bigs.
You have to do that around him, right? Because if you don't, we've seen what happens in other locations. Whereas this guy who's quiet and a little weird, he's shown that I can win with a couple different types of teams around me. I can win with the quiet, boring team that nobody talks about that's kind of older. I can win with this other team, a bunch of foreigners and a bunch of guys nobody wanted, and they just put us all together. I can win with them too. So I can win with a few more different players, or the one guy who can win with only a specific group of players. More specific.
Yeah, but I don't think that's as much as specific as it is bad situations, like you were saying earlier. I think the Sixers is just an absolute nightmare. Like the whole organization down to the players. They're not using them correctly in the right system, including Jimmy when he was there. Minnesota was a shit show. And when he was at Chicago, they were damn good. I don't know if you remember that.
Derrick Rose team.
Yeah, Derrick Rose hitting that shot late in that game, coming off that screen. They had a damn good team there. And Jimmy was good there. It wasn't just the Derrick Rose show. Jimmy was really good there.
Both teams need to get rid of their big guys. The Sixers need to trade Joel Embiid. And the Minnesota Timberwolves need to trade Karl Anthony Towns.
Which one gets dealt first?
Embiid, simply because in Philly, you do have a legit other guy that you could build around in Simmons. Whereas in Minnesota, you're kind of on the limb like, well, who do we kind of build around if we get rid of Cat? But I don't, from what I've seen from Karl Anthony Towns, I just don't see, I don't see the making of somebody who's going to be someone that you're going to win with. Like, I just don't see it. It's not about making players better, but you can only do so much. Like, you guys have to give me something to work with. I just don't see him ever being a guy. Like, honestly, once his athleticism starts going down, I think he's going to be one of those guys that you just see on the bench and like, oh, I didn't know he was still in the league, because he doesn't look like he even works on his game. Looks like he just literally says, let's just play.
Let me ask you a question. Completely hypothetical, because I know you guys don't even want to hear this. Let's say Anthony Davis doesn't re-sign. Would you see Could you see Karl Anthony Towns fitting in with LeBron?
Nope.
Nope.
Hell no. I'll rephrase that. Motherfucking hell no. He doesn't love basketball.
And just like I said, that's the biggest thing. If he had an ounce of love for this game outside of what he can physically naturally do, maybe it could work. But for someone like him, Kobe, and other players we've seen, dude, if you ain't got the dog in you to work at this, maybe not at my level, but damn near try to get to it, you ain't gonna work. And look, what Mike Singletary say? Can't win with him. Can't do it.
Can't do it.
Nope.
Can't coach him. Can't do it.
You can't do it.
So
I
where's
agree.
a team you see Karl Anthony Towns fitting then? Because
Where he's at.
I know we've talked about Embiid before, and I said I think it would be crazy to see him go to Golden State, just to see them have a big man. He's a guy that if he's there, he could hit a three, but wouldn't have to worry about it as much.
If you're talking about Towns,
yes,
it'd have to be a small market because a major market is going to eat his ass alive. So you figure like a New Orleans, a Phoenix. I could see him Atlanta, Orlando, somewhere around like that. Yeah. I couldn't see him if he came to LA. Lakers fans would eat. The Dwight Howard shit show part 1 would have nothing on Karl Anthony Towns. Look, Jimmy Butler's an honest dude. He's been very honest about the criticisms in Minnesota. He said the dude spends more time playing video games after, and being late to practice and coming literally in practice, starting just walking on the court than he was anything else. Jimmy spilled the tea, and for me that's a huge red flag. And Glenn Taylor, the current owner of the Timberwolves, that's his guy. Now, I don't think they trade him because they just traded for D'Angelo Russell, his best friend. With the number 1 overall pick, they're gonna take the kid out of Georgia. Anthony Edwards, I believe his name is.
Yeah.
I'm gonna call him Goose. They're gonna take that kid, and they're gonna try to rebuild the Kevin Garnett. But he's not KG. KG loved the game too much. So
KG was a dog, bro.
That's what I'm saying.
I would have loved if this scenario would have played out. If they get Karl Anthony Towns and they would have said, KG, can we hire you as a player consultant, some BS job, but your main goal is to work with Karl Anthony Towns, make him you. And then if KG stopped doing it, if he just, because KG's another guy, he'll spill the beans too. If he just said, yo, this motherfucker ain't shit. Yeah, I try to work with this motherfucker. He talking to me about Call of Duty shit while we over here going over post movies.
Didn't that happen?
I don't know.
They played together for a year.
Yeah, 1 year when KG got traded back. Yeah.
I thought he was working with him and stopped.
Well, you can't. It's only so much you could pick up in one season. I would have liked for it, even after KG retired. I would have liked if he could have just worked with him privately, just kept kind of like Kareem was doing with Andrew Bynum for a couple seasons, and we saw him looking pretty good. And then what happened when Bynum stopped?
About to say, Karl Anthony Towns is a healthier Andrew Bynum.
Yeah,
he's got a better skill set, but attitude wise.
You talk about guys that you wish were in their prime. I wish Dirk was 5 years younger and Dallas would have did what they did. Oh my God. 1, how dirty that team would have been. 2, how good Porzingis would have been moving forward, having a couple of years with Dirk.
Okay, put Kobe on this Lakers team in his prime.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Oh, no, you ain't stopping that team. No, I'm just saying, but Dirk was right there. He was a year. He got to, you know what I mean? If he would have got to play like 1 more, 2 more, I think it'd have been cool.
I know we were talking about it earlier, but I just thought about it and I was talking about this, is that, with the Clippers falling short and what they were doing, now he gets criticized a lot, but there is something to be said about meeting expectations. When you look at LeBron, despite his failures in the finals, 8 of the last 9 have featured him. Win, lose, or draw. So even though I'm lost, I'm living up to my part of the bargain. Right now, I know, Skip would always point out the 2011, but if you're going to give the Clippers a pass for it being their first year, that was our first year together too. We were trying to figure shit out. And I'm sorry, but those damn Mavericks threw stuff at us we really weren't accustomed to seeing from them. And that little Spanish dude running around, hell, man, none of us knew what the hell he was going to do. But
and a bench.
Yeah, and the fact that and the way that they switched up their defenses was beautiful. But the fact that we see so many players and so many teams now live up to the hype, now live up to expectations, and yet the few that do, we always find a way to nitpick at them. Oh, it ain't this, you ain't this, and it's like, look, you can like other players from the past, you can like other teams, that is fine. But can you also acknowledge the greatness we are witnessing right now? I would have loved to be able to tell my kids, man, I saw Wilt Chamberlain playing. I've never seen anybody move like him. Yeah, sure, Shaq, but I never saw that particular one. I would love to be able to tell my kids, yo, I vividly remember Bo Jackson playing baseball and then playing football and literally looking at the best player in both. I would love to do that. I just hate the fact that today as much as we can criticize them, we can't also just give praise where it's at. Like if somebody scores 50, how many shots he take? He scored 50. It doesn't matter. He scored 50.
I can.
It's like it's.
I can honestly say I told all my children that I've seen Michael Jordan play.
Who the fuck?
But to your LeBron point, Kalani, to your LeBron point, no, like real, not like in all seriousness, to your LeBron point, LeBron has more than exceeded every expectation that's ever been put on him, from a 17-year-old on the cover of Sports Illustrated to what he's done on the court, and more importantly, what he's done off the court. LeBron's exceeded every expectation. So I think that's when he loses. That's where the disappointment is, because the expectations for LeBron, and because he is so great and they're so high, that when he fails at something, it's like almost you don't believe, like, fuck, like LeBron didn't win a title. Like, he's there,
not
like
supposed to,
see, I like rooting for the stories. I like the story. And quite frankly, I like LeBron.
But I said this on the last show to Kalani. I don't know if he remembers or not, but I said I'm appreciating LeBron more now. And like I said to him about giving him his roses now while he's playing. Stop waiting till these guys retire or they're freaking dead or whatever else to then go, oh, well, I love them so much. They were so great. You know what? We got to start doing it now, respecting these guys now and appreciating it, because one of my favorite guys of all time, I wish I could have got to see him have a full, fantastic career. My favorite basketball player ever to watch was Derrick Rose, honestly, ever. Derrick Rose is my favorite player. And when he scored that 50, dude, I teared up, man. Because that was just see a guy come back.
Did you get a murder boner when he got traded to the Knicks?
For about 5 minutes, and then I remembered it was the Knicks. I did for 5 minutes, and then I remembered it's the Knicks, and I was like, it's not gonna work. So
yeah. But remember, D'Antoni sucked there, so that's all that matters.
He did. Truthfully, he quit on him.
Well, so does everybody else. I said this about Derrick Rose, and I still believe it. In a weird way, as much as it sucks to see him lose his athleticism like he did, it might have been a blessing in disguise. Simply because if you look at the nature of how we've been as sports fans and commentators, et cetera, he would have started to get criticized for a lack of a jumper, not being the Gary Payton on defense. And then if no titles were starting to come, despite, doing what he was doing, he would have also got criticized for that. So in a weird way, it's almost like Rose kind of gets a pass because we all know he got injured. So it's like, no, you don't understand. He would have, kind of like Bo Jackson, he would have been something great. But if he didn't get injured, and then like I said, the lack of a jump shot, not being a 3-time defensive player of the year back to back, because we know that's the only way you're a good defender, and then not winning 6-0 titles, he would have been looked at as, he would have been criticized and been called a bum. So in a weird way,
the greatest thing Derrick Rose did for the game of basketball, and I said this to my roommate the other day, and it's sad because he had to be the martyr for it. The greatest thing he did was get injured, because he saved guys like Westbrook and Morant and Zion and all these other high flyers like Donovan Mitchell, where now they learn how to land, they learn how to jump, they learn how to move their bodies, where he was jumping from wherever he planted his feet and cocking back and dunking on your ass. It didn't matter where you were.
Yeah.
He'd move around you midair and dunk it.
That's
Man,
right.
some great highlights, but boy, was that landing rough.
Yeah, it was. And you saw it one leg sideways. And if they would have taught him how to land, he still would have been one of the most exciting guys to watch play ever. But I do agree with you. I think it would have been like the Westbrook thing where he would have won all these accolades, would have had all this stuff, and maybe never got there. But I will tell you this, Jimmy Butler would have never got traded, and there'd have been a good possibility of Anthony Davis going there eventually. Just
and Thibodeau
because
would still be there too.
God, I hate Tom Thibodeau ruined his career with the playing him 900 minutes a game every game.
Get rid of him.
I hate Tom Thibodeau, bro.
They would have.
And didn't New York just sign Tom Thibodeau? Once again, why I hate New York. Why I hate the Knicks.
RJ Barrett better work on his conditioning because, boy, he about to play 60 minutes a night.
He's going to be running like Usain Bolt up and down the court.
I'm not going to say anything because it's going to start a whole nother, and it's already past the time. I have some good stuff, but yeah, I'm not trying to start nothing, but yo, man, I had a good time today. Say what?
I said it ain't got nothing to do with him, man. We on a good note. Let's end on a high note.
And then a high note.
Don't y'all be fucking texting each other talking about, hey, say this or say that. That's what we doing.
Oh, Kalani, all I'm gonna say is I can't wait until Richie gets another jersey.
Ooh, the Mac Daddy that's coming. I might have to move Ali over. Because the Mac Daddy's coming.
Nah, stuff like that is different, man, because that's memorabilia for some people, just like with some of the jerseys out there. Some of them might just be for personal reasons. Hey, man, this was the first game I ever went to, and that's the first place I saw. It doesn't bother me that people like him. I'm not bothered by that or whatever. I know me and Jaleesa went at it, but I did that just because.
Oh, bro, I'm gonna get Jaleesa on the show.
We need to get her on
next
here
time.
for that.
I'm gonna step aside and let you and Jaleesa go at it because
but the thing is that I knew why you was asking it, but it don't bother me that people like him. That's not my issue. My problem is that, like I said, I saw the Last Dance documentary. You guys lied to me because he didn't do all this like you guys been saying he did. He didn't do all that like you said he did. But for the last 22 years, that's all I heard. So who's lying? Is he lying or y'all lying?
I wish I had the meme of him going.
No, the one where he looks at it and it's him holding the laptop, looking at Kalani's face right now, and he goes, "At that moment, I took it personal."
You know what the funny thing is? I know one of the guys who was working on it as a sound guy there and whatnot. As a sound guy, he was there recording. He told me this. When they handed him that, it actually wasn't video of those interviews. Those were like Dave Chappelle and Chris Rock jokes to get him to laugh. But Michael Jordan doesn't laugh. So they gave him that. They just took the sound out. They altered it over. Oh, yeah, I would have gotten him better. That was actually a Dave Chappelle joke that he was laughing at. So he didn't even hear the stuff that he was thinking.
Holy shit.
Yeah. Don't get me started because I was about to start going off on another story, but it's cool.
He knows the sound guy of the guy who sold him his cigars.
Yeah, man. That's how it is. You know, I'm like you, Joe. I got connections everywhere too.
Hey, I don't got them everywhere. I just got them in the industry.
I got them everywhere. Yeah, in the industry. I got them everywhere, man.
Well,
I know somebody who works in Windows.
If we are ending, the next show we do, I have some interesting theories I've been pondering in my head and working on. I want to bring them up next show. Joe might know some of them. Tomorrow. Yes. Tomorrow night. I'm 100% down. Tomorrow night. I'll have my phone so I can bring the sound effects. Yes. So I'll do it like this and I'll bring the sound effects out. So
Hey, ain't no lie, man. We got a scrimmage tomorrow. So if I come in here and sound a little raspy and hoarse, we got a scrimmage tomorrow, man. So yeah.
Are you playing the Jordan Brand 13U team?
No. That we're not doing any of that nonsense because they don't play football. Because if they did, it would be one kid out there wearing 23, and he would beat all of us. He snapped the ball, he catch it, he throw it, because that's what
His name is Mikael Jordan.
Yeah, and he
was Jordan.
Yeah, he would just run all over us like a certain other person did, and we'd be a Hall of Famer already. But no, seriously, we do have a scrimmage against tomorrow. So if I come in sounding raspy, that's why.
Okay. Make sure you have a drink or 3 with you.
I'll try to, man, but I cannot guarantee that it's always H2O.
That's what I was talking about, non-H2O.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, then, y'all. Thanks for having me on. We gotta do this again. Take us out, Rich.
Thank you very much, everybody, for enjoying and hanging out with us on another episode of FSM After Dark. This is Richie Lupo with Joe Arrigo and Kalani Lua. We'll see you tomorrow night, and everybody have a wonderful evening.